Hey friend, it is the most creative, weird makeup artist person here on YouTube. Back again with a chit chat, get ready with me. I know Valentine's can be kind of hard for some people, so I thought today we would do like an avant-garde Valentine's Day makeup look because I absolutely positively fell in love with this makeup look here online on Instagram by, I am probably butchering this name, Myuu. I could totally be saying that name wrong, but this person did such a beautiful look that I want to recreate on my face. You should definitely check out their Instagram. And I am going to be talking about spooky stories. I've been coming across some really scary stories on the internet of ghosts and, you know me, Halloween year round. I love it. Honestly, Valentine's Day is not my favorite holiday, so I wanted to do like a more avant-garde makeup while talking about still spooky things. I found some really creepy good stories, so I'm gonna retell them to y'all while doing this beautiful makeup look. It reminds me of like a tie-dye effect heart on your eyebrows, but I'm gonna be trying to do more pink and red on the heart than the original artist did. Hopefully I could do it justice and it will turn out good. This looks really hard. But let's get into it. I'm gonna be flattening down my eyebrows, telling these stories. I found some really good stories on Reddit from a very long time ago. But they're older stories because they have so many upvotes. Like, people rated these some of the creepiest, most interesting, scary stories. So let's get started, shall we? While flattening my eyebrows down. The author actually deleted their account who originally wrote the story, and I found it on Reddit. But this person's mom lives in a place called Brindle Mountain, and the landlord was really weird. Like, they didn't want whoever was renting this house out to do any repairs on the home, which sounds like a red flag to me. Alright, now that we have the brows covered, I did about 3 layers of glue and powder. I'm gonna put this here. And it was so odd that, you know, the landlord at this person's place was like, do not remodel, do not do repairs. And they thought for some reason that their house was haunted by a small girl, none other. Because they would sometimes see a shadow girl walking from room to room, like a small shadow figure. And it was so scary because they would actually hear this ghost girl. They would hear noises of like if she was playing in the back of their house, in the back rooms of it, which sounds so terrifying, right? And then they would hear some days a child sobbing, but they couldn't detect exactly and pinpoint where in the house it was coming from or which room. So crazy. And this person who heard this story, who's writing this, was an atheist at the time and just was like, yeah, right, and like blew everyone's stories off. And then towards the end of this person and their ex-wife's relationship, they split up and this person had to move in with their mom in this creepy haunted house, you know? And this person had a daughter at the time that they shared custody with the ex-wife. So the daughter spent 50% of the time with them on, I guess, the weekdays till Friday, and then the daughter would go back home to their mother and then come back to them. It was simple, right? So this person was on the computer till like 2 in the morning, just looking online, playing games on the computer, surfing the internet, playing and listening to some music, and their computer was in the kitchen, but it was facing a wall. And on that wall was a doorway that led to the bedrooms in the house. So the reason why we're talking about the layout of the house is because that wall that shares the doorway to the bedrooms, if anyone came out of their bedroom at night to go into the kitchen, they had to pass by him with the desk with the computer. Someone had to pass by him. And this person's little girl was known for getting up at night and getting into trouble. She would raid their fridge at night, knock stuff over around the house at night, because she knew if anyone was asleep in the house, she could get away with it. Well, this night when he was at his computer, as the peripheral of his vision, he could see the shadow of his daughter going to the kitchen to raid the fridge at night. And from the peripheral of his vision, he could see that his daughter just froze and kind of stood there, the shadow of her. you know, just out of the peripheral, that means the side of his eye, wasn't really looking directly at her. So this person didn't really look at their daughter, but just assumed that she knew that she was caught because she probably saw him and that's why she froze, and maybe she went back to her bedroom and assumed that hopefully she'll go back to bed without making a big deal out of it. But out of the peripheral, again, he didn't want to stare at her directly, but could see that she was standing there for like 3 whole minutes. And he did this because he didn't want to like look straight at her, make a big deal, and hopefully she'll just go to bed on her own. So she goes back to her. He sees the shadow go back to her bedroom. It was dark in the room, but he could see her turn and leave the room that he was in with the computer. And after that, everything was pretty dead silent, but it was like eerily quiet. Like, you know, when kids are just too quiet or your surroundings are just too quiet, it's very eerie. So after about 15 minutes of quietness, he decides to get the guts to get up and go check on his daughter. Because in 15 minutes, he should have heard her, you know, rustling, climbing back into bed, maybe trying to play with some of her toys or rustle around her toys to get to her bed. And he didn't hear any of that. So he stood up and walked towards where, you know, the area where it leads to the bedrooms. It was pitch black, so he couldn't really see anything. And then all the hair stood up on the back of his neck. He got a sick feeling that hit the pit of his stomach because he just realized that his daughter was with his mom. His daughter was not at his home. His daughter did not get up and go in the kitchen. His daughter was not that dark shadow figure he saw out of the peripheral of his vision while he was on the computer. His daughter was not with him that night, so who was there with him? And it gave him chills, and he'll never forget it. I'm just darkening in with some black liner around the eyes and the waterline, all that jazz. Loving this look so far. I would literally go out to a club like this. So I think the trick is to use angled brushes. I'm gonna use various shades of pink to do heart shapes. I'm using this new Flirty Talk Valentine's Day collection eyeshadow palette that is so gorgeous from Color Pop today. You can even spray some setting spray to really get some pigment. Then I'm gonna go in with a red. For the next layer of hearts, we're gonna go with the red. And this next story was with a person who was just chilling at a house with their friends at a hot tub. It was late at night and they decided to tell some stories. And one of the guys that was there told a story about a girl they knew. And the story goes like this. This girl was called over to babysit, right? And she was told to put the kids to bed at 9 p.m. and so she did. And after she put the kids to bed, she started watching TV, doing her homework, just waiting for their parents to come home. But then she started hearing things coming from the basement. Weird, odd noises like pans falling and stuff like that coming from their basement at the house she was babysitting at. She ignored it at first because she just thought it was like the washing machine or something. But then a little later, she decides to call the police because she kept hearing those noises of pans falling, stuff dropping just from the basement down below. And when she called, she explained she's babysitting this person's house and their children, and she hears noises from the basement and she does not feel safe. So the person on the call said that there was a police patroller around the area that would come and stop by. And that the police patrol car person will be there in 20 minutes exact. But not 20 minutes go by, only 5 minutes go by because the police not just show up to the house, but a whole entire SWAT team is knocking at their door, and she's like kind of freaking out, like, what is this? I just got off the phone with 911 and they told me that just a patrol car was gonna stop by, not a whole SWAT team. And one of the SWAT team members explained to her that when the operator was on the phone call with her, well, when she hung up, they heard a second click of someone hanging up. So there was someone else in the house listening in on her phone call. And that's what the other click they heard. And it turns out there was a creepy man in the basement, and the lady on the other side of the 911 operating phone line heard the click of that man in the basement making that noise and listening into her phone calls. And they ran his file after they captured him, and he was up for multiple cases of insane. This person says when they were 6, their family lived in a rural area in Southern California where a certain native tribe lived called the Cahuilla tribe, C-A-H-U-I-L-L-A. And they had a few acres of a ranch that was beside a small mountain or a very large hill. And this person's bedroom, was facing those mountains. And it was so dark at night, they had a motion sensor light on the back door that you could see go on and off from her bedroom if it did go off from motion detection. And this light showed people that were coming onto the property from the front door, the motion of it, but there was also a door to the back of the house and a room that no one used. And this person, of course 6 years old, was trying to sleep, but they remember it to this day in her tapping on their window. They wake up and look out the window, see yellow striking eyes, and see a shadow figure of a person. But the shadow wasn't totally human-like, it was more of a canine. And they had coyotes in the area, but it didn't seem like it was that. And this coyote shadow, whatever, they don't know if it's a shadow silhouette of a small man or an animal dog. It goes to that back door and tries to wiggle the handle loose to open it, after it was kept scratching at the window staring at this small child. And when it went to that back door, the sensor started going off, one of the sensors, and you could see it was like a furry dog-like man creature. And who was ever with them grabbed a rifle that was near them in the room. They must have woke up their family members, and that dog-like creature just stared at them and the person that was with their family member with the rifle. And then when it sees the rifle being pointed at them, it just runs into the darkness away. And this person is wondering if it's like a skinwalker of some sort. I don't know. I'm gonna put on lashes and the ombre red and black lip, and I'll be back. And just like that, we are done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was so much fun to do and so creepy of stories to tell. Definitely check out the original makeup artist whose look I recreated from this. So inspiring, so beautiful. I'll put their links down below. Thank y'all so much for watching. I had a blast, and I will see you guys in the next video. We post every Friday here, and I'm on TikTok as well, and I'll see you then. Bye.